Discovery, go at throttle up.
Hey guys, give me one sec. I'm just dealing with something that required my immediate attention. Let me play one more song and I'll fire up the YouTube video now and we'll do the Space News intro song and we'll go. Once again, apologies that took a little bit longer than I wanted. Yeah, we'll be live momentarily.
With no retreat, failures never taste the sweet. Science lessons learned in flight, journey on through endless night. For the stars, we aim so high. The projected kiss goodbye. For science and purple light, we'll keep flying through the light. Rocket launch with hope so grand. EJ's got the master plan. Thrusters burn to reach the moon. In his eye you see the tune. Orbit dreams won't be delayed. Lessons learned from missions made. Kerbal Time will forge a path to the stars beyond this path. For the stars, we aim so high. The projected kiss goodbye. For science and purple light, we'll keep flying through the light. Rocket launch with hope so grand. EJ's got the master plan. Thrusters burn to reach the moon. In his eye you see the tune. Keep flying through the light.
Okay, how's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing well. Welcome to the Space and Rocket Review. You two girls, tell your friends, Space and Rocket Review. You in the hat, tell your friends, Space and Rocket Review. Just give me one quick second here. And I will be ready to go. I like dead airing my stream. It's my favorite thing to do in the world, by the way. Give me one moment. I just need to check something here real quick. Okay. I can look into this in a second. Sorry, yeah, guys, I had to deal with something here. Cool. All right, let me get the Space News links up and running. Okay, I'm good. I'm good. Professional. Yeah, well. Yeah, well, I had to deal with that. So, I can tell you if you really care. Like, Bree came up here and was walking the dog around in the backyard, and we got woods behind our house, right? And she was walking Titan around in the woods behind the house, and some random dude walked up to her and said, "Hey, you're on my property. Get off. Get out of here. Property line's over there." Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So I'm looking at the assessor data for my town. So do you guys remember a little while back how sometimes in the background you heard a lawnmower or something in the background? Turns out this guy dumps all of his grass from his land on my property. That's weird. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You want to play that? You want to play that game? All right, we'll play that game. You want it to be like that? We can be. It doesn't have to be like that, but it's gonna be like that. You want it to be like that? It's gonna be like that, bro. Sorry. Gee, that's funny. Yeah, I was looking at the assessor data. Yeah, that's weird. You just dump all your grass on my property. Maybe we should call the police. Yeah, that's probably what I'll do. Yeah, that's probably what I'll do. I don't play that crap. Don't play that game with me. Have you actually asked him to stop first? No, I won't. No, I mean, I'm not gonna ask. I know, I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna ask him to stop. No. What I am going to do, because he could have just said, "Hey, you're on my property. Can you not do that?" No, property line's over there. He said it to Brimo, scared the crap out of her. All right. If it was me walking the dog back there, you probably wouldn't have said that. Okay. You want to be like that? Sure. All right. Message received, pal. Yeah, I don't screw around with that. You're gonna be like that. Doesn't have to be this way, but hey, if that's how it's gonna be, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. The guy, like, dude, right out that wall, he dumps all of his grass, And I didn't think nothing of it. I don't care, you know. But if you're going to be like, if you're going to be a jerk to us. So he's dumping his grass probably about, I don't know, maybe about 30 feet that way, right? Because he thinks it's his property. It's not his property. My property line goes 40 feet that way. I just measured it. Okay. Okay. All right. If that's how you're going to do it. I'm like, I don't want to be petty. I'm not that, I really don't roll like that at all. But if that's how it's going to be, that's how it's going to be. Message received. Got it. Won't go on your property again. But now you can't go on mine either. Get a survey if you want to play ball. Yeah, probably. I'll go to the assessor's office soon. Yeah, I'll go to the assessor's office. I'll get it assessed. See what's up. I mean, the assessor data API, or not API. I mean, you can access, it's not an API. The assessor data, it has an API that goes to a map, and it's overlaid over a map. It's pretty damn accurate. It's using USGS. So, yeah. Yeah, you're dumping all your grass clippings on my lawn. Okay. Okay. All right. Friend suggested we get a Sasquatch suit. Yeah, how about a shotgun? I don't like people doing that, Bree. That pisses me off. They wouldn't have said that to me. If it was me back there, I would have gotten asked nicely. He didn't do it, but you know, like, you're gonna use that as an excuse to treat you like crap? I don't roll like that. That pisses me off. Sasquatch with a shotgun. I like that. I like that. But yeah, Bree, I looked at the assessor. He's dumping his grass clippings on our property. All right. Okay. Anyway, sorry. I don't mean to derail the space news with my personal grievances, but yeah. Let me get the rest of these links tallied up. Hey friend, 3-month reset of all systems are go. You'll finally be able to use that gun rack. See? That's the type of innovation I'm expecting from chat. Oh, hey, Sasquatch. Pull a China drop stages on his lawn. Yeah. You have cameras outside to catch him and prove it to the authorities. No, but I could put one up. I probably will now. Like, dude, I don't think I need to explain my persistence in certain matters. Don't play this game. Don't do that. You like I said, if it was me, I walked the dog back there this afternoon. Like right before I started the stream. Nobody said nothing to me. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Man, in Minecraft. Dude, it doesn't have to be that way. Like, there's woods back there. It's brush. It's all brush. It's brush and trees and just knocked over logs and anything. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you guys though. Like, Bree was definitely like where we've been walking the dog is basically woods, and I checked the assessor. It's technically their property, so like to be 100% fair, technically, yeah. But you know, it's woods. Like, it's just the woods back there. Like, clearly it's not like a garden or anything like that we're trampling through, but you know, like whatever, man. You want to be like that. Yeah, like they come back down here, they dump their grass clippings on my lawn, on my property, you know, like I kind of just assumed that it was okay. Like, they veered onto our property many times. I don't care. But if you're now I do. Now I care. Yeah, like I said, man, that's why I was like, I really wanted to get the assessor data so I can go measure the property lines later just to see, just to see if it's legitimate enough to call the assessor, because that's what I'm going to do. No, this guy we don't really talk to very much. Like, it's on an adjacent street. We never really talked to them at all. Their dog got lost one time, and I did help them find it. I dropped what I was working on the truck one day, and the lady that lives there, I guess, came up to my shop and asked me to help her find her dog. So I did. She just veered onto my property. I mean, yeah, like I said, it's just brush. It's woods. It's nothing. Like, but I mean, if that's how it's gonna be, that's how it's gonna be. If that's the way it has to go, that's the way it has to go, man. Like, yeah, I guess Aqualux. I guess that's the thanks we get.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
No one ever wins in a neighbor feud. You're probably right, Rio. Probably not a big deal, but I guess I'm more annoyed that just, hey, property lines over there. Oh, hi. Just running up to my wife in the middle of the woods. Okay. All right. That I'm not gonna lie to you. That kind of pisses me off. You should have tried harder to find the dog. I guess so. Do you believe Flight 9 will go the 27th since we've seen Ship 35 go to Massey's? No. Yeah. I mean, Dan, we were, like, to be fair, like, and I'm just going to be truthful about this. We walked the dog back there, and I checked. We do some of the, there's, like, paths in the woods back there, and they do veer onto their property. That's fair. Won't do it again. But you're also dumping stuff on my land. So if you're going to be anal retentive about that and then dump stuff on my land, now we got a problem. Now we got a problem. Plow the ground and place minefield signs. It's a good idea. Any chance you go over there and ask them? Well, yeah, silly, I might be able to do that. Yeah, I could probably do that. Probably should, but I don't know. I just... Yeah, excessive nice. Talk this out over a beer or two. I don't really want to. Call it quality control. That's what I'm saying, yeah. Sounds like he's provoking you a bit. Yeah, like I didn't get along with the guy that lived here before us, so maybe, I don't know if he realized that that dude moved or something, but whatever. Yeah, I'm just going to get an assessor sewer rat to see what's going on. Yeah. He's, I mean, like I said, in Massachusetts, the assessor data is all public, so you can go on there and you can look. And I looked, and if I'm understanding distances correctly, yeah, he's been dumping a lot of crap on my lawn for a long period of time. So, all right. All right. Anyway, I'll shut up about it. I'll let you guys know what happens. Check this out. Ship 35 was moved out of the high bay. I was playing more roadcraft. Pretty good. I don't know, Vargon. Like, you have to really finesse the controls to the point where it's very difficult to make anything useful. Kind of reminds me of Railroads Online, to be 100% honest. Railroads Online had pretty crappy track making capability back in the day when I played it. Like it was pretty bad, but because the tools were so ridiculously bad, if you made nice railroad tracks, it was pretty good content because you're like, dude, how'd you do that? The tools are terrible. I feel like it's that all over again. Actually, somebody in chat said that. Or there was a reason why the old owner didn't get along with him. Yeah, pretty much, Aqualex. That game is how you found the channel and join. Nice, you're right. There you go. Castle wall fun? I don't know. I don't know what I'll do. I think I want to call the assessor and figure this out before what's going on. Because, like, look, if we're trespassing on his property, he doesn't want us there. That's their prerogative, dudes, to be 100% honest with you. But if you're doing that and you claim to be anal retentive about your property and you're dumping stuff on mine, we got an issue. We got a big problem here. And like I said, dudes, you don't want to deal with me with you don't that's a bad idea. You know how persistent I am with this stuff. I will not stop. I don't do that. I don't do that kind of crap. I grew up around people like this. I can't stand them. I will go after them for just out of spite. I don't care how much time it takes. I'll hyper focus on that. You don't want me to do that. Railroads Online has pretty cruddy reviews lately, too. I stopped playing it because all the drama that went down spoiled fruit. So how many engines do you think they're going to test with? I would do all 6 again, dude. EJ Space and Neighbor Review. You two girls, tell your friends. Century Steam. Whatever game is the one that Heist is working on, I'm in. Stop, I don't want to hear about personal crap. Okay. I don't know, Flyboy. I'll talk. Let's talk about Starship. So this is the latest thing, Ship 35, and LSR has a preview for us here. There it goes past river. Dude, the drone shot. The drone shot's mint. I prefer people to be candid, Fluffy, to be 100% honest with you. Dude, look at this thing coming down the road, man. That's just one of the pictures that Jack took here that just kind of drives the point home how big this thing is, dude. I mean, look at it compared to the truck. Guys, that's the same truck that I have in Roadcraft. Mine's yellow, though, in Roadcraft, and it's not a Ford, but that's definitely the same thing. It's a Super Duty. It's an F-250 Super Duty with a flatbed. Actually, it's dually, so it could be a 350, but you get the idea. I mean, that truck's not small. Yeah, man, whatever. Like I said, if I'll call the assessor, I'll see what's going on. If the guy's right, if the guy's totally in the right, he's dumping his grass on his property, that's the end of it. You know, that's it, though. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Is a Ford towing that? No. It's not towing it. It's on self-propelled modular transporters. That is a spotter. These are spotter vehicles, guys. So these guys right here are spotting for that guy. You see that guy? That guy with the little briefcase thing? That guy is driving this. He's driving this Starship. Don't mind him. He's taking his Starship for a walk. It's okay, Flankin. Yeah, he's driving his starship around. What else would you call this? City of Brownsville posted launch attempt for Flight 9 is scheduled for May 27th, 17 hours ago. Also, Ship 35 has its flight termination system installed. Yeah, only one operator. You can link the SPMTs together. See the cables? So all of this is acting as one unit and being controlled by one box. Yeah, ARJ and everybody else, sorry, I didn't mean to make this about my personal thing. I needed to get that off my chest. It was pissing me off. I feel better about it now. But, anyway. You never take your car jack for a walk? I don't think so. So there we go. It moved over to the Massey's test stand, and then they'll set it down there. How much can that thing lean before it has a chance to tip? Well, the center of mass is quite low, Flyboy, because of all the engines. With that being said, I think it's bolted down to the transport stand, and I'm pretty sure SpaceX puts counterweights on it to keep the center of gravity low. It can tip pretty good, but I wouldn't go past like 5 degrees, but that's just a guess. I have no idea, dude. Why don't they use trains and rails for moving these big ships instead of that? Because that exists already. And a train would require some capital to make. I mean, with that being said, who knows in the future? I mean, Stuart, here's the thing. The SPMTs are about as efficient as a damn train. Maybe a little bit less because of the higher rolling resistance, but it's a diesel hydraulic. It's a diesel. That's basically a diesel hydraulic locomotive with wheels. You could build trains here, but okay, so if you were going to move Starship, you'd need the double rails, like the ITL Causeway in Florida. You'd need double rails. So now you'd need double rails with a 2-lane road in the center, just like what they have at the ITL. That spreads the load enough. So you basically, like, if you're going to do that, I mean, that's a lot of infrastructure to build. I mean, I'm not saying they shouldn't. That'd be kind of cool. But there is a couple of issues. At some point, it would have this train track would have to cross Highway 4 because Massey's. So if we're looking at Highway 4, this is Highway 4 in the center, right? That's part of the Starbase construction, that road over there. Massey's is down there on the left. It's over here. Actually, you can see it. So they have to get this thing all the way down Highway 4 and then take a left to Massey's, which is on the Rio Grande. That's the Rio Grande River right there, right? You can see where that tower is down there, right? So the problem here is that if you were going to do this, the build site is over here. Build site's on this side, okay? Massey's is on the left side. So at some point, this is going to have to cross Highway 4. It has to be a level crossing. It has to be a level crossing. How are you going to do it? How are you going to do it otherwise? Right? You also have to worry about environmental impact. You've seen SpaceX deal with the fruits of that labor. Where are you getting all the dirt? I mean, SpaceX probably, let's be real, SpaceX probably build it if they wanted to. But I think at this moment in time, it's easier to do that. A rail overpass? That would be insane. Isn't that diesel electric hydraulic? SPMTs are diesel hydraulic with an electric power takeoff. Yeah, it's got an alternator on it. But the main drive for the engine is not turning a generator, it's turning a hydraulic compressor. There might be enough room to grade up and go back down. Maybe, dude. I think a level crossing would be better at that point. It's not like the train's long, you know what I mean? Yeah, I think SPMTs are the best thing to do. Guys, that is by far and away the cheapest way to transfer that ship. Yeah, but they don't have to reinforce the highway so that don't they have to reinforce the highway so the ship doesn't sink into the road? They've already done that. The road from the launch site where the roundabout is that they just added all the way to the entrance to Massey's has been regraded with an industrial subgrade. I read the plans. I don't just play roadcraft, right? I read the stupid plans. I read the damn plans. So this part of the road has a very, very thick subgrade that's designed to move starships. It's designed for industrial traffic, so it's an industrial road. So, you know, in roadcraft, if you were watching us when we played it a little bit earlier, I dug out a trench, basically. We filled that trench in with sand, graded it, and then paved it. That sand in roadcraft that you place down, it would be gravel in real life. It would be aggregate. And depending on the type of traffic and how thick your subgrade is, the aggregate would be bigger or smaller stones. Like, bigger stones help absorb the weight of bigger industrial traffic. It's not rocket science, dude. That thing is, right? But moving that is not. Right? So this part of Highway 4 from the pad all the way to Massey's has been reinforced with a 12-inch subgrade. 12-inch subgrade is for heavy industrial traffic because heavy industrial traffic goes down this road. And also that I would call that heavy industrial traffic. So that is the easiest way to move it right now. Now, Surat, I'm not going to lie to you. There's no way that that's a long-term solution. Aqualex, well, it's the cheapest until you take into account the long-term cost of road. I know. I should read the whole thing, but yes, the long-term. That's probably an interim thing. They'll probably come up with an easier way to do it later. I think that the easiest way to do it would be to just widen the road, just one more lane, bro. The ship is heavy, but isn't the wheel pressure less per axle with more wheels? Yeah, sure. If it were in Florida, it may be more restricted, but if they intend to keep this as a long-term active launch site, it may be better to put the money into derail. It'd be cool. But I mean, I'd say if they were going to do anything, Aqualex, they'd probably build another road. Another industrial road right here. And make this a strode. I know you hate those. I get it. That would probably be a good idea. So you could shut down one side of the road, keep traffic flowing, and also move a ship. I think that would be a good idea. In fact, that's probably what they're going to do. Look at the grading on the left side of Highway 4. Like a bicycle lane for cars. Exactly. Yep. I mean, if you think about the logistical operations of a train, how do you get Starship to the train? An SPMT. An SPMT would have to drive this thing to the train, lift it up, put the transport stand down on cars, and then the train sends it over there, and then another set of SPMTs down at Massey's would have to pick it up off the train car, put it on the test stand, or you run your rails. You could run your rails right to the test stand. That's kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, that's what I would do. But I think that building a road is actually easier. They could make a dedicated lane like 39. That's my guess, Spoiled. That's in fact, I think they're going to do that on purpose. So I think not on purpose. I think they're going to do that. That's what I think is going on. Now, look, okay. We know about roads, we know about grading, we know about cities. I play a lot of infrastructure games. Those are my favorite by far and away. So, some key things here. All right, let's back it up. Let me show you guys something. This drone shot, I think this is Jerry Pike. Yeah, hey, it says it right on the screen, idiot. So, something to note here. Actually, the shot that we have is a pretty good shot. The shot that we... Actually, no, that's River. Danger Van is over there, by the way. Okay, so, look. What can you tell me about this? What's going on over here? See what I mean? See this? What's going on right there? Look. There's a... SpaceX... Some people are going to find this pretty damn funny. SpaceX used to have solar powered Brownsville used to be, or Starbase, what would become Starbase. Boca Chica Village used to be solar powered. They used to have a huge solar field with a tracking station. They don't have that anymore. They took that out. They took that out when they ran heavy industrial power. Heavy industrial power. See the lines? It's carrying 2 3-phase lines. They phased it out when they put that power line in. But fellas, look at where the power line is. It's a good ways off the side of the road. Now check this out. Look at these drainage conduits. See them right there? This is all for drainage off the road. Keyword, road. That's sewer. That's a sewer line. Well, not a sewer. It's drainage. Drainage is not sewer. That's fresh water versus contaminated water, right? So look, you're seeing some grading activity going on right here, right? See, they're spreading the sand like roadcraft. And the power line is offset off of Highway 4 by pretty much exactly 2 lanes, give or take 2 lanes with a right-of-way. Like you could fit another 2-lane road right here. I don't think that's a coincidence. I really don't think that's a coincidence. I think that is entirely on purpose. Yeah, culvert pipes. That's what they're called, Crow. Sorry, I blanked on them. Hear me out. We create a lazy river like they have at sushi restaurants, just bigger. Sean, I don't hate that idea. But see all this? Look, they're staging stuff, and they've clearly graded something here, right? They're gonna put something in there. What they're gonna put in, I don't know, but I don't. They have the break. See the break right here? They're definitely gonna widen this sucker. It's gonna be a 4-lane boulevard. So if I had to guess, the culvert's going down the center. Drainage is gonna be in the center. And it's going to go out to the sides. And there's going to be another road right here. Another 2-lane road. Basically this, but right there. So they can move Starship around and they won't have to worry about making traffic jams. Yeah, technically they're both sewer. Yeah, exactly, right. Dude, these drone shots are mint. Yeah, you guys want to see something crazy? See that strip of land right there? That's Mexico. Yeah, that's Mexico. That's Texas. That's Mexico. That's how close it is. That power line is dual bundle, meaning you can run twice the amperage, 115 kilovolts, 138 kilovolt transmission line, with underbuilt distribution to feed Rio West Rocket Ranch. The factory area is using the transmission voltage. Bingo. You're right. I looked at it last time I was there. They're carrying the smaller stuff down here. The 3-phase stuff is up at the top. Yeah, actually no wonder they want to build a border wall. Fun fact, dude, there ain't no border wall here. Do you know why? The border wall never was going to extend ever to Starbase for the people that if anybody cares, like, at all. They're never going to do it. There's already a pretty damn good border wall there. A border wall comes in the form of Port of Brownsville. You ain't swimming across this. No, you're not swimming across that. It's a gigantic freaking channel. You're not swimming across it. And it's directly open to it's directly susceptible to tidal currents. So think like Alcatraz, same kind of stuff. So the border wall, if anybody absolutely cares about this, it goes up here. You see that? That's it right there, and then it stops. It stops right here, Because ain't nobody going to try to run across an open field. So, like, this area right here is the area that CBP patrols. Because you ain't going to try to cross all the way out here. Right? You ain't going to cross all the way out here and then cross to South Padre. Nobody can make... Dude, you'd need to be an Olympic swimmer to do that. Yeah, that's why the aerostat is there too. They have an aerostat over here, which I do believe is gone. They found it somewhere. What sort of amperage do you think the factory is using? All of it. If I was a betting man, I would say Elon is putting in a private road so he doesn't have to deal with the hassle of shutting down a public road. Yeah, that's probably it. Or they're just widening it. I mean, I don't know. It depends on Texas legislature and stuff, dude. The aerostat hit a power line. Yeah, because it broke off of its moorings, dude. That happened when I was down there, by the way. Does it show Starbase? Does it say Starbase, Texas? Nope. It still says, Google Earth still says Boca Chica Village. Anyway, yeah, so see right here in the drone shot right there, that's Mexico. But you'll never see a border wall here because, dude, it doesn't look like much on Google Earth. I cannot explain to you how remote this actually is. Starbase is quite literally in the middle of nowhere. This doesn't make it look, this makes it look like there's Port of Brownsville right there, and then Mexico's right there, and then, actual Brownsville is like right over here. No. This place is remote. It's very remote. The Google Earth pictures don't do it justice. This drive to get from like downtown Brownsville to the base probably takes about an hour. Yeah, it probably takes about an hour to go that far. That's the distance we're talking here. And it's not like, you might get stuck behind a spaceship. How long does that checkpoint take to get through? Not very long. But yeah, there's the border wall ends over here. Because nobody's going to try to cross here. That's a really bad idea. You're going to get funneled in. So the other thing is that Port of Brownsville is gated. This is all gated off. Quite actually, the only way, if you did go back and forth here, the only way is Highway 4. Or you're going to have fun running through that brush, which there's stuff in there that doesn't like people. Source, I've seen it. Anyway, on the map, it's listed as Starbase of America. Nice. So yeah, Massey's is down here. The road is redone. Actually, you could see it. The road was finished with a heavy subgrade to here. Because that's where Massey's ends. And then from here all the way back to Brownsville, this road is like driving over a freaking minefield. That's what I mean when I say Boca's not nice to vehicles. Make sure your vehicle's in pretty good running order before you drive down Highway 4 and start going into the brush. Because that road you'll hit a pothole and your tire will fly off. Or you'll blow a tire or something. Make sure you're prepared. If you ever go out here, it's remote, dude. There's not much in the way of help. So just keep that into account. Keep that in mind. Snakes. Oh, dude. Snakes. Scorpions. Oh, dude. There's all kinds of fun stuff in there. Coyotes. There's all kind of fun-loving stuff in that brush. You don't want to go on that. Unless you really know what you're doing. There wouldn't be gators here. No. No gators. Like I said, man, this place is remote as hell. It doesn't look like it. Right? There's nothing here. Like, look, you see anything? There's no civilization. You have to go that way about, I don't know, 40, 50 miles. Well, maybe not 40, 50 miles. Brownsville is over there, but it's a long way. But the other thing that I've noticed, dudes, is that SpaceX clearly is doing something over here. See that? I'm pretty sure, so trying to figure out where the substation is. Now I want to go back to Google Earth and look. Where the hell is that substation? I think the lines go underground over here. Because the poles stop, but they're also so like look at all of SpaceX's construction here. Do you guys notice something? If you notice, they never built right up to the property line. They always just left it as a parking lot. See that? There's a wide berth here on purpose. It's definitely through here. The back of Starbase is built, or the front of the Star Factory is definitely built a good ways back. Are they extending the past the Rio West? I'd imagine building a road would go north off of Highway 4. I don't know. The substation is by the airport. I'm pretty sure the lines go underground. Actually, you know what? Let's just look. How about we look? I don't see any lines there. They're definitely buried. They're definitely underground. Turn the thing around. Oh, look. Guy's digging with an excavator right there. Yeah, they stopped. They go underground right there. That is a low voltage line that goes out to river. With a bigger road, they could get rid of road closures, right? Badojo, I don't think they would get rid of road closures. I think I should cancel my 27th to 28th trip. I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to say, dude. I think it's entirely contingent on how good this ship's static fire is. Just add one more lane, bro. Badojo, passing on Highway 4 is a death trap. This is a 2-lane road. It's a 2-lane road with yellow dotted. Passing on it sucks. So if you get stuck behind a truck or something, good luck with that. Like it's not great. It's not great at all. So, I mean, if you look here, even here, this building, that's SpaceX's building, it is offset, see? Look, it's back the same distance, basically enough to double up the road. I think SpaceX always had plans to widen Highway 4. I think they were always going to do it. Yeah, see, look, like this is all widened on purpose. And the property line here, that's NSF. That's NSF. That's the highway site. You can see where the property is. The property line starts right here. That's where we did that flame trench. Me, Jack, and Das that one time. We did a flame trench from right there. Dude, yeah, no, they're going to widen it. But I think they're going to switch it to a 4-lane 2-way road. Yeah, I think they're gonna switch it, and I don't think you'd have road closures. I think they'd close down one side of the road, revert one side of the road to 2-way traffic, and call it a day. Yeah, this is the extra width was set by the county or state, not SpaceX. I believe this is part of the original zoning, Creeper. Yeah. Didn't someone from NSF get into an accident on this road? I don't know. Hey, Command Racer, 9-month resub. Actually, speaking of that, let me get the audio back in. Are you talking about that little tailgate party where you were talking about your son named Trunks? He's Trunks. He's my son. Yeah, that was a Dragon Ball reference because Das and I did the Dragon Ball thing. No? All right. Oh, never mind. Trunks. He's my son. My son's name is... He's my son. My son's name is Trunks. One of them blew a tire there? Yeah, that's what I mean. Highway 4. Make sure your tires are good before you drive down Highway 4. The road is in not good condition. I wouldn't be surprised if they land a jet plane out here. I don't... I mean, Brownsville is right there. Saying the airport's not that far. Do you have green build sites and brown fill sites like the U.S.? In the U.S. like the U.K.? I don't think so, Pod. We might have another name for that, dude. I'm not familiar with what that is. I mean, you could probably land a Cessna on this, but there's traffic. I mean, how long is it? How long is this straight right here? Yeah, you could land a Cessna there. You could almost land a 737 there if it was flat enough. Actually, that's more than enough for a 737. You could almost land a 747 there. But what you do with it after, I'm not entirely sure. I'd rather land in Mexico than land on Highway 4. Yeah, Ryan. Hey, are you down there, dude? Did you go down for 9? I can't go, dude. I have a freaking wedding to go to. No? Alright, well, that's good. Yeah, well, it is what it is. AI overview. In the UK, brownfield sites refer to previously developed land that is no longer in use, while greenfield sites are underdeveloped land. Building on brownfield sites is generally favored for its sustainability and the ability to repurpose existing infrastructure. Greenfield sites, on the other hand, offer more space and can be cheaper to develop, but they can also have environmental implications. Okay. We just call that undeveloped land. I don't have a wedding, but I do have a hole to patch in your wallet. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. A C-17 with reverses? A C-17 could land in the marsh, dude. Well, I wouldn't do that, but you could. You've never driven in Rome. I think that they can be called roads for their conditions. The roads in Rome did not look fun to drive on, Bodojo. With that being said, it ain't any worse than Boston is. Our roads are not great. There are some parts of the city that just are not very navigable. Fluffy, what was your last, bud? The plans have already been submitted to the state for widening. Tagged you with the TX article in Discord. If they just spin prime the ship, do you think 27th is more plausible? Yeah, perhaps. But I thought Boston had the most amazing, smooth, and beautiful roads. I don't know. Not sure if sarcasm. Approximately 14 miles of State Highway 4 SH4 from Boca Chica Boulevard, from FM 1419 Oklahoma Avenue to LBJ Boulevard in Cameron County. The proposed improvements are expected to improve safety, increase traffic capacity, and address deficiencies along Highway 4. Currently, Highway 4 is a 2-lane roadway with 12-foot travel lanes, 2 to 10-foot paved shoulders in each direction, varying 0 to 4-foot flush paved median with existing 100 to 200-foot right-of-way. Yep. Proposed improvements, adding two 12-foot concrete travel lanes, 1 in each direction, on Highway 4, from approximately 2,700 feet east of FM 4, Farm to Market Road 1415, Oklahoma Avenue to Joanna Street. An additional 8-foot paved shoulder in each direction. Construction varying 4 to 12-foot flush paved median. That's a wide road. Construction of an 8-foot bike path in the eastbound right-of-way from Quicksilver Avenue to LBJ Boulevard. A bike path. Eastbound right-of-way. Widen the culverts. We saw that already happening. Right there. They're widening the culverts right there. Huh. A bicycle lane? Jack talked to me about this and I was like, dude, why? It's the eastbound right away, so that's the south side of the road. From Quicksilver Ave to LBJ Boulevard. Where the heck is Quicksilver Ave? So there's LBJ. Here's Remedios. It's for workers coming from Rio West. There's Richardson. Yep. Yeah. SpaceX is developing all this down in here. That's where, like, Starbase's town square is going to be. Hey, if I lived and worked there, I'd totally ride on a dedicated bike path instead of getting snarled up in traffic. Well, okay, here's my thing. Here's my thing, Oculus. All right. It's on the southbound side of the road. Eastbound right away. So that's this side. South side of the road. You'd be worried about traffic. Of course. There's this thing that you're going to have to do if you work on the other side of Highway 4 and you're biking to work on this side and you got to work over on the other side. There's this thing. What is that? What is that thing? They're in the road. It's a bunch of white stripes that go across the road. There's this crosswalk. You still have to deal with traffic this way. You still have to. Albeit less, but you still have to deal with traffic. Now you could do a bridge, sure. Shouldn't there? Don't you think there should be a proposal for one in here? Or maybe that's a different thing. I would do a bridge because you don't want, a bridge that, with a ramp that goes up and goes across, because your bike lane doesn't solve any problems at that point. In fact, someone will get mauled by a freaking tanker truck coming down the road. You can't build a bridge because of the ship. So it would have to be a tunnel. Tunneling here with the water table could be problematic. A 50-meter tall bridge. Yeah, see? There you go. That's right. Yeah. Can't do that either. That's right. We had this conversation on the flame trench. Exactly. Jack and I talked about this 2 weeks ago. I'm like, what the hell does a bike lane do? That's right. You can't build a damn bridge because of the freaking ship. So whose idea was this? Whose good idea is this? This doesn't solve anything. Ryan, you got a sub for that. We can make it 50 meters tall. It'll be fine. That'd be a sweet bridge. Or just build the bridge before the ship entrance exit. Well, the ship goes either way. Ship and booster goes either ways, to the launch site this way and to Massey's that way. Make a drawbridge. Yeah. Crossing the road once is better than cycling on it for 20 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, this is Space. I'm in space.
Space Pope gifted a sub to Bimbo for Cocoa Puffs. What the hell? What the hell kind of name is that? What's your name now? What is that? Nah, lift bridge. Let's do a lift bridge. Have it lift up over Starship. Eastbound right away, not necessarily the eastbound lanes. Didn't they say dedicated bike path, not a bike gutter? I mean lane. That's a good way to describe that. Others already brought up the drawbridge idea you had. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, that's another interesting point, dude. If you extend this, right, and you have two other lanes going this way, right? So you have two westbound lanes this way, two eastbound lanes this way. Is your bike path in the center? If your bike path is in the center, right, you could conceivably get your path to about the Mega Bay, right? And, well, the parking garage is right here. And then you could have a small pedestrian tunnel under there, I suppose. I mean, you'd have to seal it up. It'd have to be, like, super concrete proof. But, yeah, you could. Yeah, a tunnel would probably be the better idea. But, man, that tunnel's going to have to be nuts. But that way, you know, that tunnel would have to be really strong for a pedestrian tunnel. Like, the slab would need to be, like, 20 feet thick. But that way, if you did do something like that, they could just roll the ship out here, and then you wouldn't have to build anything. If the bike lane was on the factory side of the road, trucks would... Yeah, exactly, man. That's what I mean, dude. There's a huge logistical problem here. I'm actually thinking a swing-out bridge now. Only Elon knew someone with a tunnel company. John, I think you might be right, dude. I think you might be right. There's enough space right here. I mean, I don't even know if that space is...
Discovery, go at throttle up.
I don't even... Wow, that's not what that looks like now. I don't even know if that space is there anymore, but dude, that parcel of land right there, is enough to stage a boring machine. You just have a Pruff Rock, go right through there. In fact, hold on a second. Wait a minute. Give me one sec. I gotta find it. So this is Bastrop, Texas. I think they're up here. I think it's up here. They don't own that property. Oh, lame. Where the heck are you? I thought it was right around here. Maybe down here? No. Have we heard anything from the Boring Company lately? Yes, they had an update actually super recently. Highway FM 1209, thank you. Oh, there it is. Got it. So up here, they've been digging tunnels. Boring Company actually had a big breakthrough with Prufrock, the name of their boring machine that they're making. So Prufrock, there it is. It's right there. See it? So this type of boring machine, it'll basically just start like with a TBM, guys. You need to like excavate out a big hole, and then you need to put the TBM in the hole and then have it drill your tunnel. That's how it's usually done. Prufrock, you can just start it on one side, hit go, and the thing will just dig a tunnel through and come out the other side. That's what those are. See? 1, 2, 3, 4. See those access portals? That's what those are. That's where Boring Company is doing its testing. A bike tunnel is overkill for a TBM. These Prufrock TBMs are tiny, dude. They're really small, spoiled. They're not big. It'll dig you a 1-lane wide tunnel. Actually, I'll just show you the dang tweet. I'm sure I can find it. Where the heck is it? What the hell? So this is this is Loop in Vegas, but that's the type of TBM that it is. It just digs a small 1-lane road. See that? And the thing can navigate itself through the dirt. Like it'll just steer itself and pop out the other side. If I'm a little ways from your house, they're drilling a sewer tunnel underneath Albert Park. And yeah, there's a pit next to your place in the center of the road. Yep. That's crazy, though. See that? Where's this coming out? By the Encore? All right. Huh. But the point is that you can dig. It could just dig by itself, guys. I don't think people realize how big of a deal that actually is. Like, here's another video. You don't need entrance portals for your TBM. It'll just do it. It'll do that. It'll burrow through the ground like a graboid from Tremors. Not, albeit not as fast. Here. See? All you got to do is just set it on its stand at your entrance portal like angle and just it'll just go. You just set it on the ground and it'll dig the tunnel for you. Like I know that sounds ridiculous, guys, but that's not dude, that's like bullet train compared to how tunnels are dug now. Not yet, anyway. Just wait till Bert Gummer sees it. Yeah, right. Broke into the wrong gosh darn rec room! That is a pineapple. Okay. With the TBM in Milano, we're building the expansion of a metro line. Cool. It's pretty rad, dude. Oh, yeah, the snail. That's right. Snail and a pineapple. Gary. Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, they're trying to go faster than a snail. Conveniently enough, they have one that's the perfect size for Starship. Boring Company only uses Tesla cars for transport. Interesting. Mars TBM. I think that'll happen sooner than you might think, dude. Like, but yeah, that is an update from them. They did post that the other day. Starship dedicated subway tunnel. No, one fits inside a Starship's payload base, sewer rat. I mean, going as fast as a snail is like F1 car fast for a tunneling machine. Exactly. That's the Boring Company's thing. Beat the snail. Go faster. If you can go faster than a snail, you're improving tunneling like 100-fold over how we do it right now. TBM and Optimus on the first Starship flights to Mars would be crazy. My one thing with that is, okay, Profrock's designed to just send it and it'll come and pop out the other side, right? How do you make that into a base? How do you make that into a Mars habitat? Profrock can't turn. So you'd have an entrance tunnel and then what? Improving, but the size of the TBM is tiny. That's not the only TBM they have, Dr. No. Boring Company doesn't really necessarily bring anything new to the table. They're just optimizing operations for how TBMs work. So, Boring Company started in 2018 because Elon got stuck in traffic and said it's stupid to just sit in traffic. We could dig tunnels and we could, you could just make super highways underground. You just dig tunnels. And then he looked at tunneling and he said that's way too expensive. So he started Boring Company. And how Boring Company started is just buying, they started by buying tunnel boring machines. They just bought TBMs that were on the market and looked at them and said, wow, this thing sucks. How do we make this go faster? And they've been just improving on it since. I'm sorry, about what, Tenet? Do heat and cold dissipate in the space vacuum? Cold gas stays cold. Was thinking about it the other day. Vacuum is nothing. There's nothing. In terms of gas, there's not a lot. But that doesn't mean heat can't be transferred through a vacuum. It can be transferred through a vacuum via light. So if you're in the sunlight, you'll get hot. If you're in darkness, you get cold. But that's just external skin temperatures, dude. That's like the outside of a spacecraft will get really cold and really hot. And some of that heat could transfer into the rest of the spaceship. But spacecraft on the whole, Tenet, need to deal with heat mitigation because there's a lot of things on a spaceship or satellite that can generate heat. Computers or people. People generate heat. And if you don't find a way to dump the heat, you're going to have you'll melt. Your spacecraft will just melt, even in darkness. I feel that boring machine needs the ground to be much more obliging than the usual tunneling machines. I don't know, maybe. That's why I said sorry. It's complicated. No, don't worry about it, dude. All good. Kind of wish Elon had gone the flying car solution to that problem. The drone with some EDFs on it would be pretty cool, man. Hey, Predominant, what's up, dude? So, guys, I'm going to shift gears a little bit. We'll still keep going with the SpaceX stuff. This was on McGregor Live a little bit earlier today. This is one of the SpaceX's new tests. Yep, it's on fire. Yep. Yeah, that's not supposed to do that. So there was a raptor doing its thing, and I'm going to go ahead and guess that that thing sprung a leak. Judging by the darkness of those flames, that looks like a methane leak to me. So how's Raptor 3 coming along? It's doing something. There's probably a Fire X system. Yeah, there's probably a Fire X system that put it out. But yeah, that's you know, people go outside. You know, they go to test their Raptor engines. They think everything's fine, everything's good. They wake up the next day and they're on fire. G.I. Joe. Do we even know it's Raptor 3? I think this is a Raptor 3 test stand, dude. But it is a new test stand, so who knows? They could be testing for failure modes. They're doing a bunch of different things. From the outside looking in, Raptor 3 appears to be having a hard time. It also has a lot of RUDs. So, it appears to be having a hard time. They'll get it, man. Space Shuttle, do you know how many Space Shuttle engines they blew up on the test stand before they launched STS-1? That's a long list. It's a long list, dude. Stuff blows up when you rockets blow up when you test it. Just think of it this way. They found a thing that doesn't work with Raptor 3. Every single one of these failures is eliminating a possible failure mode when you actually go to fly with Raptor 3s. And I know that seems like kind of a brute force way to do it, but when you're on the cutting edge of propulsion systems for rockets, which is arguably the hardest part, stuff happens. Stuff blows up. It happens, man. I wouldn't let it bother you, dude, to be honest with you. I really, guys, dudes, ever since I went down to Starbase and just saw the scale and the size of the operations there and how much it's expanding, I'm not worried. It could blow up tomorrow, whatever. I'm not worried. As long as nobody gets killed, I'm fine. We're good. Like, dude, they're not... You know, like, they're not... And I don't want, like, bad juju or anything, you know what I mean? But, dude, look at the hardware. Look at the scale of that dang operation. The thing's ridiculous. Like, they'll get it. I know they'll get it. Erudite, I know a lot of people that work there. They are some of the most tenacious melon farmers I've seen. Like, you know how I'm stubborn about things? They're stubborn about this stuff. If it blows up, that just, believe me, that just motivates the workforce to friggin' get it figured out. Like, they're very much operate like, I'm gonna keep going until I get it right. Like me building roads in Workers, or building roads in Roadcraft, or building roads in Cities, or building roads in Kerbal. Okay, maybe that last one's a little weird, but you get the idea. I think they'll get it. They're just pushing the limits with what they have. Well, make new limits. Roads in real life. Roads. You know how fast you were going? I'd say like 65 tops. 7 miles an hour. And normally when I pull somebody over, they pull over to the shoulder. 7. Roads. Hey, quiet back there. Crazy psycho. Butchered 400 chickens and slapped a beagle. What's that, creeper? Yeah. Yeah. That's what I mean, dude. You guys ever see Lethal Weapon? Officer Murtaugh! Look at the hardware! It's over! Riggs is gone! Roads in Satisfactory, roads in Mud Rudder, roads in derail. No roads in derail. Cut me some slack, but sorry, I like infrastructure. What do you want from me? Rockets and roads. EJ's two specialist subjects. Love roads. Do you think all roads lead to Rome? No, all roads lead to EJ, damn it! What is a rail but a metal road? I like trains! I like trains too, man! You guys don't understand. You know, people say, oh, well, I like trains. Oh, well, I like cars. Oh, well, I like bike paths. I don't give a frick. I like all that stuff. Like, people argue like, oh, look at America with all their cars. Oh, look at Europe with all their trains. Dude, I want all of that. I don't think people understand. I want all of that. I am a greedy bastard. I want all of this in this regard. I want the fastest trains. I want the biggest highways. I want the biggest ships. I want the best spaceships. Like, I want all of this because that's all cool. We want he who dies with the most toys wins. Okay? You win. That's how you win. You have the most toys. I like those. Those are cool. I want all of those. Please give me all of those. Why are you yelling at chat? Because you yell at me, man. I mean, like, dude, look, it's right in my profile, like on the social medias. Twitch partner, rockets, airplanes, cars, trains, factories, NSF commentator. See? It's right there. It's right there in the title. Don't make me tap the sign. Boop, 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 boop. Also crochet, I guess. Wait, you're an NSF commentator? You're also a business contact. I am. NSF mechanic. I'll take that. Motorbikes? Eh. Yeah, I don't need those. It's fine. Did you say you like to crochet? Nah, Brimo does. I mean, motorbikes are cool. They just don't do anything for me. But I mean, you build highways. That you know, motorbikes are kind of goes hand in hand. What? Off topic, but does Brimo still work in the city? No, Brimo hasn't worked in Boston since. I don't even know. 2020? To be honest, I'm annoyed no one's applied our understanding of building highways to building bike paths too. I don't. Computer. What do you mean? Jarvis, what does Aqualix mean by that? What do you mean? A bike path is just a small road. But no cars go on it. It's just a small road. Am I missing something here? Oh, okay, John. Bike paths are political. Whatever. I don't know about you. I don't think it's really a political solution. I like cars. I like driving cars on roads. You know what I hate on roads? Cyclists. I hate cyclists on roads, so it'd be prudent to give them some place to not be on the road because I hate cyclists on roads. I don't understand. Is this a controversial thing? Like, hello? It's not like the cyclists will use them anyway. All right, that was pretty funny. I'm not a fan, dude, but I understand you want to ride your bike and stuff, but seriously, you want to share the road, but you don't want to, cyclists don't want to obey traffic laws, at least the ones over here. You know what, Wayfair? I'm going to let that one roll, just because. Anytime someone wants to say something funny to Tessa like that, I'm in. Getting up to speed on a bike is like getting up to speed on a freeway, but we don't see people putting intersections or stoplights on freeways. But it's a bike? You want like cyclist super highways or something, dude? Like what? What? But are the drivers obeying road laws either? No, they don't, and I don't like that. Cyclist clover leaves? Make it so. I mean, you know, Ivo, Okay. All right. You sold me. Ivo, you sold me. Yeah, that's a good idea. We should do that. Yeah, you sold me on that one. Hey, if they're gonna have to, they're gonna have to have the same misery that we're gonna have to with the clover leaf. All right, that's fine. That's fine. I'm good. Not recognizing the equivalence is how you get cyclists blowing through red lights. Come on now. Call the number. Who's now? No, you read that wrong. Okay. All right. Yep. Nope. Okay. You had that one ready to go all day? No. Must be an Australian number. Sting Drummer's in here. Anyway. Okay. What else we got? Cyclists in my area almost convinced our local council to shut down our busiest road from 4 lanes to 2 lanes so they could ride their bikes on it. See what I mean, guys? Just, just make... They can have their own roads that are over there. And if they're not on the road, like... See, at that point, right? There's a dedicated cycling path. You build a dedicated cycling path, complete with cyclist cloverleaf interchanges. You build that over there, and anybody riding their bike on the road gets a ticket. I like this idea. I'm cool with that.
Go and throttle up.
I think that's a pretty good compromise. You get fined out the wazoo if you ride your bike on the road when there's a dedicated bike path. It's a good idea. Malice Penguin, 43-month resub. EJ for Transportation Secretary of the City of Starbase. Oh, I'd do it too. I think what Oculus means is that when dedicated lanes aren't present, cyclists will ride on the road next to cars, and it introduces conflict with drivers. Drivers often have a larger reaction to cyclists driving dangerously than cars driving dangerously. How is that different than what I just said a second ago? Interesting. That's an interesting way to look at it, Warhammer. Then we are in agreement. We were never in disagreement, man! Man, now I want to play cities. Now I want to play workers. But hey, we got workers early start coming out tomorrow. So, I mean, there's no bike lanes in it, but there should be. Bob, that I don't know how, but that's just asking someone to get hurt. Oh, okay, kiddo, I got you. That's just reminds me, guys. Early hours, I have to go to the airport. I'm going to pick up Ree's parents from the airport. So I am going to stream early. We're gonna start early tomorrow. So the worker stream is starting like, I don't know, probably about 4 hours before my normal start time. And then I'll be back for after hours, Space News and after hours. You can contest Netherlands is a bicycle shadow realm, traffic lights and red roads to zoom on pass. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm going to try to make it, man. We'll see. We got summer car for after hours. It depends. Yeah, Bob. Yeah, I know what you mean. Can you stream planes taking off and landing? But then we wouldn't play workers. Passing, nice. So you're done with roadcraft for the time being? We will probably resume roadcraft on... I don't know, maybe we'll do roadcraft on Friday after Flame Trench instead of racing. Who knows? I don't know. This weekend is going to be a little hectic for me. I might not do anything after Flame Trench on Friday, guys, just because, yeah. We're approaching wedding week and Starbase launch week. Well, wedding week for me, Starbase launch week. Why play workers when you could be the workers? Yeah. No, must get Dozer. When you put it like that. You taking Monday off for the holiday? Probably not. The whole problem of cyclists and car conflict is made worse by the wide roads in the U.S., even in urban areas. Wide roads make you drive faster than is actually safe. Interesting, interesting fact. Airless. Anyway. The key to remember is what applies to cars applies to bikes too. You have to adjust distances based on stop speeds and the fact that energy comes from pedaling. If you had a section of road with 30 stop signs, one every 50 feet, you're going to get some idiots just blow through. Now adjust that to the fact that every stop means you have to pedal hard to get up to speed, and the interval distance gets much longer. That wasn't a typo, based on top speeds. So, are you saying bike lanes should have more stop signs? Less stop signs. I mean, I get what you're saying. I don't. You seem very adamant about this, I suppose. Bring back 500cc two strokes. See, Jedi-tastic, you have the right idea. You start on a bike as a child, continue riding until you get hit. Jeez. Just ban bicycles. See, Paul, all I'm saying is, you know, if bikers want their own lane, you get your own lane, that's fine. Get your own, the bikes get their own lane. Maybe even like a license to operate on that lane. So they, you know, if you apply for a bike lane license, right? You go do your own bicycle lane license thing and stay the hell off the road. You can have your own bike lane. I'll take with the car lane. That's fine. Yearly bike inspection. Yeah, just go do that. Go do that over there. If you give them their own bike lane, they stay on the bike lane, they stay off the road. I think that's pretty fair, right? We can also have bike DOT to hassle them whenever they please. See? Hey, if they want their own thing, they got to be just as miserable as car drivers, man. That's the way it is. You can't have your cake and eat it too. I'm mostly kidding, for anybody that's wondering. Brendan, can you post a link in Discord? Yeah, go ahead, man. Told them I don't want to pay for it. That's, you know, well, I mean, Bear, are you going to pay for the peace of mind to not have bikers on the roads? I'm kind of okay with that. Like, and potholes in the bike paths. Yeah. Yeah. What? Yeah. What is the solution there? What is the solution for a bike path where it snows, Paul? Like, I mean, because potholes are made by inclement weather, right? Like, what if you live where I live and all the bike paths snow over? What are you going to use? A plow on a diesel truck? No, they can't do that. Then you're gonna have to have somebody pedaling with a snow plow, dude. A bike plow. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, cyclist. I'm being kind of a dick. My bad. My bad. You're gonna have a bike plow. You just created a new job. You're creating jobs. Oh, jeez. Oh boy. Should have a look at Out of Ore at some point. I got lucky with a randomly placed slope that went right back to my base ore drop off from the bottom of a big hole quite a ways off. Yes, I plow shared the land a bit. Snowy bike lanes, heated paths are a thing. You're not being a jerk, you're just returning the favor. Rip. Alright, more space news. Let's go. After 31 days docked to the space station, the Dragon spacecraft supporting SpaceX's CRS-32 mission for NASA will undock on Thursday, May 22nd. That's tomorrow. Cool. I wonder which Dragon that is. Actually, list of Dragon spacecraft. Yeah, close enough. So it's on C209-5. All right. All right, that's just its 5th flight to the space station. That's pretty good, man. Oh, dude, this wasn't here last time we checked this out. Look at this timeline here. Hold up. Whoa. There has been a Dragon continuously in space for 4 years almost. Whoa. Yeah, since November of 2020, there has been a Dragon in... Holy crap, dude. That means in November of this year, SpaceX will have had a spacecraft on orbit for the past 5 years straight. A human-rated spacecraft, that is. What the balls, dude? Man, when you say it like that, holy crap. Man. Yeah, you know, like, we're already on Crew 10, dude. Demo 2 was like 3 months ago, right? Like, Bob and Doug launched that. That wasn't that long ago, right? Like, right? Right? Actually, it's the anniversary of Demo 2. Demo 2 launched in May of 2020. That was not 5 years ago, man. Come on now. Oh, I hate that. I don't like that at all. Oh, that sucks.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
All right. Hang on 1 second. Oh, my back hurts just thinking about that. All right, Brendan, what do you got? Oh, that was an ad. Not anymore.
The Space Shuttle Pathfinder was an early test article
What is this?
for the Space Shuttle program from NASA that we have had on display for many decades. It helped NASA with all the handling procedures in the early days of the shuttle design.
Buzz!
So we have had it down for a complete restoration for over 3 years now. Now, this Space Shuttle Pathfinder is our last piece to complete our year in 2024 of return of the Rocket City space line.
We lifted the Space Shuttle Pathfinder replica back up on top of the fuel tank and rocket boosters here at the Space and Rocket Center. This was a tandem lift made with 2 cranes. We had an LTM 1750 and an LTM 1400. The heavier end of the fuselage weighed 140,000 pounds and the lighter end weighed 77. So we were able to utilize both these cranes in the configuration with Y guys to make this lift.
I'm very impressed with the equipment you got here today. It's state of the art. I don't think I've been working with a crane this size yet, and crews as skillful as this. Your crew been totally dedicated, 0 damage, everything was handled professionally, clean, on point.
Really cool job to be part of. It means a lot to the community in Huntsville. I mean, thousands of people drive up and down the interstate right here and see this every day on their way to work. So for this shuttle to be lifted back up is an awesome thing to be part of.
We could not do this without the work of the contractors that are working so hard for it. Contractors like Maxim Crane that have done an incredible job today. And as I was talking before the lift, I was explaining what a big day this was for us at the Space and Rocket Center, and I was assured that they do it every day.
With Maxim, it doesn't matter what the job is, whether it's setting a air unit with a boom truck or needing a crawler to replace a
dark room.
bridge, we have the fleet and the capacity to be able to handle any of those jobs.
Cool. So that's Shuttle Pathfinder, guys. That it's not it's kind of a real shuttle, but it's not a real shuttle. But it kind of is, but it kind of isn't. The shuttle, it does have kind of an honorary orbiter designation of OV-98 in the shuttle program, but it's like if you looked at the guts inside, it's not it's not a real space shuttle. It's an amalgam, but it's an amalgam with all the exact same hoisting points as the actual space shuttle. So if you notice, there's a load spreader front and rear. It's picking up on the actual hold down points. This thing has real hold points, real hoisting points from the real space shuttles. That's what the Pathfinder was used for. It was used to test all the equipment that you needed to actually lift the space shuttle up and put it on the stack. It also has real attachment points. There are the real attachment plates to the ET. So it has some real space shuttle parts on it, but it's not a space shuttle. It's a mass simulator with all the correct attachment points. So in this particular case, what are the correct attachment points? Well, you have your 4 hoisting points right there, right? 4 hoist points, and then your forward bipod ET strut, and then the 2 external tank aft struts. That's it. That's all it has. The Pathfinder shuttle was used at the very early parts of the space shuttle program to test stack fitment. Like, there they are, using the exact thing as a mate-demate device. They're using it to test the MDD. That is the piece of equipment that lifted the shuttle up on top of the 747s. There were 3 MDDs made. There's one at Edwards Air Force Base, a static one. There's a static one at Kennedy Space, or there was a static one at Kennedy Space Center. And then there was a mobile one that was built to be able to be taken apart and shipped around the country via trucks. So if the shuttle needed to land somewhere, it could land wherever. The mobile one was supposed to find its way up to Vandenberg Space Force Base, and it did. It was there in '85, but they never used it after that and shipped it back to Palmdale. Yeah, it's a mass simulator. It's an amalgam of the shuttle. It weighs about as much as the regular orbiter. Yeah, and they used it to test all the fitment, all the brackets that were used to pick the space shuttle up, attach it to the stack. This bracket is used for verticating the shuttle in the VAB. That's where that bracket ended up. There it is. That's Marshall Space Flight Center. That's the dynamic test stand right there. Click here. Yep. What do we got back there? Oh. Oh. Neat. Yeah, the outside is fiberglass. Dude, I've never seen these pictures before. This page must have been updated. Bro, 78 F100 right there. Hell yeah. Also, fiberglass space shuttle. Hell yeah. Yep. There it is. See, that's what the interior of Pathfinder looks like. It's steel beams. It's an amalgam of, an approximation of what the space shuttle is, how heavy the actual shuttle is. Dude, there is a lot of pictures that they've updated this. I haven't seen these before. I've never seen these pictures. Yep, there you go. Cool. And they just restored it. Hey, not bad. It lasted 48 years out in the elements. Pretty good. Somebody did some pretty good fiberglass and Bondo work there. Truck. How heavy and in what areas? A guy actually said it in the video.
Procedures in the early days of the shuttle design. And so we have had it down for a complete restoration for over 3 years now. Now, this Space Shuttle Pathfinder is our last piece to complete our year in 2024 of return of the Rocket City space line.
We lifted the Space Shuttle Pathfinder replica back up on top of the fuel tank and rocket boosters here at the Space and Rocket Center. This was a tandem lift made with 2 cranes. We had an LTM 1750 and an LTM 1400. The heavier end of the fuselage weighed 140,000 pounds and the lighter end weighed 77.
210,000 pounds. That's a lot of pounds. Man, that thing's heavy, dude. Yeah, 95 tons. 95 metric tons. So 95,000 kilos. That's heavy. So that is the mass of a space shuttle with full payload capacity, like with the payload bay full, and then some. Actually, that's actually heavier than a space shuttle, but that's probably on purpose because, you know, if it can lift a 95-ton shuttle, it can lift a 60-ton shuttle with a 25-ton payload, no problem, you know. It's pretty good, man. Cool.
So we were able to utilize both these cranes in the configuration with Y guys to make this lift.
I'm very impressed with the.
It's very interesting because that is how the shuttle's fuselage was made. Like the wing subassemblies were made just like that. So the wings, I mean, actually the landing gear box should be right there, but it's not. The wings and the fuselage kind of sandwich around the landing gear housings. But yeah, that's, I mean, the rear gear would be right here in front of the external tank umbilicals. So like, you see this kind of open area? That's where the landing gear base should be, but it's not on Pathfinder.
Equipment you got here today, it's a state of the art. I don't think I've been working with a crane this size yet, and crews as skillful as this. Your crew been totally dedicated, zero damage, everything was handled professionally, clean, on point.
Really?
Yeah, see? See, the landing gear box is filled in right there. That's where the rear door is. But yeah, that's pretty freaking cool, dude.
Cool job to be part of. It means a lot to the community. And
how did I make that in KSP? Okay, you really want to know? I attached the landing gear to the payload bay and then moved them into position and then strutted it to the wing subassembly, if you really want to know. The wing sandwiches the gear subassembly. It sandwiches the landing gear box is your intermediary between your wing for carrying structural load for the shuttle and the fuselage. So I surface attached it to the fuselage, gizmoed the landing gear into position, and then strutted it to the wing, creating that same structural effect. When I say I engineer stuff in Kerbal to work like their real-life counterparts, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, if you really wanted to know, dude, that's how I did it. Fluffy, I was even looking into ways to hoist the shuttle correctly. My shuttle that we built, the Collins Mark V, is designed to... Yep, that's what it looks like without any of the skin on it. Yeah. It's just a mass simulator. I was looking to see if there's a way to make this kind of an attachment system in KSP. You could kind of get away with it, But yeah, I wanted to in Kerbal. I wanted to build MDDs. I wanted to build mate demate devices. In fact, I did once. Hold on. Give me one moment. No. I'm trying to find the backup, but it doesn't seem to be here. Yeah, I'd have to go find the backups, dude, but I have them around. Yeah, somewhere floating around, dude. I have screenshots of the mate demate device. I just I don't know where they are. It's not here. So yeah, I had a mate demate device where I pick stuff up and I could pick the shuttle up and place it on the 747, dude, which was hard. That was hard to make. The Philippine Mars has arrived at Pima. Yeah. I'm not sure where the backup is. I know I didn't delete it. I just don't know where it is. I did find a file. There's a file. I did find a folder here that's called Working as Intended that has a bunch of KSP2 quick saves in it. And some of these quick saves are have some very expletive names. Wait, hang on. I think I found it. Give me 1 second. I found it! Dude. Here, look. Check this out. So, see? Shuttle on top of 747. My 747, I put G90s on because frick you. There it is, man. Could them having a flight termination system on Ship 35 mean they're not planning on going back to Mega Bay 2? That would be my guess, Trey. Oh, wait. No. Where's the rest of it? Oh, there it is. See? Same hoist points and everything. Jesus, 90. Yep. I picked up the shuttle, placed it on the 747, and then... Don't worry about that. I picked up the shuttle, placed it on the 747, put the Kerbals inside, did an approach and landing test, landed the 747 next to the shuttle, and then took the shuttle, put it back up in the mate demate device, picked the whole dang thing up, put it back on the shuttle. It took another 2 set of test pilots and did another approach and landing tests. That was really difficult. Oh, yeah, dude. So yeah, I built it. I built the shuttle to be reused. If you could somehow build a VAB and a shuttle transporter vehicle, like, yeah, see, and then after that, I picked the shuttle up and I put it on the Kometo, on the transport vehicle, so we could move it around. That is a Falcon 9 launch pad. This was before hydraulics were in the game, so just, it worked. But yeah, I did build the shuttle to be reused. Space dock. How hard was the Shuttle 747, Sep? The hard part was to keep the thing from crashing, John. You had to separate it, and basically nosedive the shuttle at the runway and land the shuttle correctly before the 747 crashed. MSC tonight? Yes. Yeah, ship space dock. The Enterprise payloader. Yeah, that's right, passing. Yeah. Yeah, that, Jax, yeah, they blew it. It looks like a fuel leak. We did this on May the 4th, 2019, I think. Hey, the snowspeeder flies. It just doesn't fly very well. That's all. Pretty good picture. Of course it doesn't fly very well. You had trouble adapting it to the cold. Right. Oh, that's the Mark IV shuttle. Yeah, that's... Trip down memory lane there. How many hours do you have in KSP? It's north of 15,000, maybe. Dude, we played Kerbal every day. Every stream. From pretty much 2013 to like 2023. Making a Rebel Snowspeeder fly in KSP is very challenging. It was tough, dude. The anhedral wings make it very aerodynamically unstable, Dan. I thought Enterprise was the only test article. Thanks for the info. Sure, Brendan. Yeah, it's somewhere north of 15,000 hours, dude. I mean, my rule for the longest time was to stream at least 6 hours of Kerbal every day, every stream. And I held that rule until 2023. Yeah, about 2023. I let go of that rule when Kerbal 2 came out. And yeah. What rule again? I can't tell you. Can't talk about it. It's closer to 20,000. It was 15K 6 to 8 years back. My rule shatter was basically always give the most amount of time to Kerbal per stream. So, you know, we do Kerbal Space News and then after hours. Another 15K when KSA comes out. Maybe. Actually, guys, I was talking with Bree about this after the conversation we had the other day, just on a quick side note. I really have been hesitant to stream KSP because I don't know who owns the intellectual property to the game. And, you know, but it was like, why does it matter? As long as you tell people that, it shouldn't be a big deal, right? And I'm like, all right. I mean, okay. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Anyway, yeah. We do have a lot on our plate right now, but yeah. Between all the engineering that we're doing and like with the car and roadcraft and stuff, like in roadcraft relatively recently, but yeah, I kind of want to. You have more hours in KSP than I do at my first job. Kind of want to, dude. I want to. Anyway. All right. What other space news do we got? So we got some stuff from Firefly here. Hold on. Let me, I turned the heater on because it got pretty cold. And turn the fans back on. If KSP comes back regularly, then the aviators need to make a few guest appearances. All right. Hardware progress accelerates for the Blue Ghost Mission 2. We fired up our new prop and welding clean room at our spacecraft facility to complete the first welds on a flight panel for Elytra Dark, our lunar orbiter and Blue Ghost transfer vehicle. Meanwhile, at our rocket ranch, our automated fiber placement machine delivered structures for both Elytra's dual payload attach fitting and main barrel. Critical flight hardware taking shape. Yeah. Neat. You seem in a reminiscent mood today. Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Trying to think what's causing it. I don't know. Today's been an emotional roller coaster, especially with that crap with the neighbor. I think I'm just going to let it go. I mean, I could be, if it escalates, I'll be a jerk about it. But, like, yeah, it's just been a weird day. Just a weird day. Had fun playing roadcraft, though. We roadcraft the hell out of those roads. They were pretty damn good. Don't worry about it. I don't want to talk about it. I'll tell you later. No, not the same neighbor hired. Different guy. Yeah, no. The neighbor I live next to is cool. He agreed with me that guy is mean. So, not the cool neighbor. The cool neighbor is still cool. Dude, the cool neighbor I treat like family, dude. Methane subcooler. Thoughts on Pink Floyd? I've been on a Pink Floyd kick lately. I have to be in the mood for it, dude. All right. It's Geosat. 1 month later, here's how things have changed. We revisited SpaceX's 39A and Roberts Road sites at Kennedy. Satellite imagery update, mid-May 2025. So that was in April. Hey, that's a lot of nice grading going on there. Damn, dude. There's the footings for the Gigabay. Oh my, wait a minute, hold up. Dude, transfer aisles! We called it! Transfer aisles! Hell yeah, look! Dude, see how they're doing the footings? There's gonna be an internal truss structure, just like what we said. And there's your open area. This thing's gonna be built like the VAB. Look at that! There you go. You can see it's already going to be open right there because they're grading the terrain for where the structure is going to go. And then you can see, okay, so the darker areas are topsoil. We know all about that now, don't we? The lighter areas are sand it's sand and gravel that's being put down. But what you got to do first is scrape off all of the topsoil. Underneath the topsoil, you have this limestone chunks. See all this gray? That's limestone. Can't build on that. Like I said, it's like building on a sponge. Limestone is the pudding of rocks. It's very squishy and it absorbs water. Pudding absorbs water. I don't know. You get what I'm trying to say. So they're almost done scraping off all the topsoil here. And then that's the limestone chunks right there. You got to scrape that off, and then you got to replace it with sand and gravel. See this? See these lighter clay-looking areas? That's fill. That's the subsoil. That's the good stuff. You want to build on that. So they're putting down a good grade on top of the fill in all the different areas where there's going to be, where the building is going to be, right? There's a pile driver right there doing the pilings for the building that the supports are going to be attached to. And then right here, you could see they're putting up some kind of formage right there for where the structure for the Gigabay is going to be. This structure right here is the Gigabay. It's been scraped down to clean fill. If you look, right, see the clay color? Has Bill gotten his daily limestone cup? Yeah, that's right, he has. And you can see this area right here. You can see the outline of what the bay is going to look like, and it includes 2 gigantic transfer aisles. In fact, you can almost see the processing stools because it's almost like these areas are going to have something heavy. Limestone can dissolve in water fast when the pH is too low, very sinkhole prone. That's why you don't want to build on that. Like I said, building on a sponge. So this is still topsoil that has to be scraped off here, right? And then they scrape down to the subsoil, which is clean, right? There's topsoil over there. Usually you'd scrape it all off and put it in a burn pit somewhere. Yeah, I'm not sure where that's going on. Probably right here, if I had to guess. So that's still a little topsoil. That's limestone. That's clean fill, and that's gravel. So you can see where the building is going to be. And that building is going to be not small. Pile up topsoil and sell it. You could do that too. Yeah, people pay for that. That's sick. All right, what about 39A? Dude. It's already freaking trenched. You've got to be kidding me. You use all that topsoil for landscaping. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You want grass to grow, put the topsoil back down where you're not building anything. And yeah. Instant grass. So if we were to dump acid mine water in Florida, that would be bad. Yeah, the consequences of that could be disastrous. Look, there's the trench for 39A. Wow. That's crazy. See? This is the older picture from April. Dude, that was a month ago? When did they post this? April 8th to May 21st. That was about a month and a half ago. A month and a half ago, this was all brush cleared on topsoil. Holy shnikes. Dude. That's actually crazy. That's really fast. For a plot of land that freaking big in a month and a half, that's pretty damn good, dude. And yeah, you said they dug a retention pond. Phil, I can only assume that that's it right there. It's crazy. That's absolutely insane. The pace is ridiculous. SpaceX is going to try to they internally they said they want to launch. They want a Starship launch from the Cape by the end of this year. That's a tall order. That's a tall order, I'd say, but they are going fast. What's that, Oculix? Apparently they want to spray LOX into the intake to cool the incoming stream, which would be easier to manage in terms of cryofluids and would have combustion benefits, I guess, which would not go to waste if they're also using afterburners. Might work, and going to methalox, which wouldn't need much to get the right jets to work on, would likely solve a bunch of problems from the past. You have a mass problem now, though. Liquid oxygen is very dense. I'll still be trying to figure out what steel is. RIP. There's a new one on 39A as well. Oh, that's what you were talking about. Yeah, I got you. Oh, that was not there either. Okay. I guess that's there now, and that one too. And that one 3. And that one. Whoa. That's bananas, dude. Yeah, but you have plenty of volume freed up in the wings going Methalox instead of Hydrolox. You have room to reposition it. But it's not about repositioning, it's about overall mass. But I guess, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying don't do it, dude. Man, dude, they're going quick. I wonder if they're gonna clear that one out over there. I don't know, man. You guys think they're gonna get that done by the end of the year? I think it'll be close, but I don't think they're gonna get it. I think that pad will be the level of completion at the end of the year that pad B is currently right now. Because if you look at how quickly it took to make this, right, to make the entirety of pad B, because you guys got to remember, a year ago at this time, pad B was a parking lot. The entirety of pad B was a parking lot. And over there on the other side of the tower is where suborbital pad B was. Do you remember that? That's what it was like a year ago. In May of 2024, they were demolishing suborbital pad B and there was nothing here. It was a parking lot. This is 12 months. Now, some things to take into account. 39A's tower was already stacked when they really started to go ham on construction a couple of months ago. So the tower was already there. So if we compare and contrast when the tower was finished or when the tower was stacked to the level of completion now, I think that would be a reasonable extrapolation of time to figure out more or less the timeline, the actual timeline for the 39A pad. When did they start digging the trench? When did they start digging that trench for pad B? Come on, who's the tank watchers? Let's go. The SpaceX contract out construction, half and half. They design everything and then contract it out depending on what it is, methane. Yeah, there are lessons learned, so you got to think that they're going to go a little bit faster. Guys, that was nothing. There was nothing there probably 6 months ago, I think would be a fair extrapolation. So in 6 months ago at this time was the level of completion that 39A is right now. Think about that for a second. If you think about that and you think about that, building an exact copy in Florida is not going to be that difficult because you already, Tesla Max, as you said, lessons learned. The end of the year, maybe not for a launch, but at least to this level of completion, highly likely. I would say that pad's probably going to be ready in January or February. But, dude, end of the year is not outside of the realm of possibility. It's just at the very edge of possibility. Highly improbable, but also it's a possibility. We already seen photos of the launch mount under construction, right? Well, give me one sec. Let me let you in on a little secret. I don't know why I never shared this, but this would have been probably for Space News last week. Take a look. Harry Stranger posted this on the 14th. New Umbra Space SAR imagery reveals the foundation of SpaceX's future Gigabay at Roberts Road. And thanks to SIR magic, we could spot the orbital launch mount through the fabric tent being worked on. The OLM is already, dude, they already started making it. It's inside of the tents at Roberts. So if we go back here, that's the Firefly tweet. We ought to go back to the Geo picture. Hold on. We go back to Geosat. See that tent right there? Building the OLM in there. And yeah, that's civilian SAR. I'm telling you. People think I'm a crackpot when I'm like saying like, dude, they could read the newspaper that you're reading in the morning. They can read the damn newspaper. Like, dude, think about that. The resolution of that picture, you could see through buildings and stuff, man. I think. All right, that's fair. I'd probably do the crossword for you too. Right? Can you see what blue is doing? Dude, the other thing is, oh, where is it? Hold on. Somebody linked me this, and it's probably within Creeper's links for Space News, I think. Here. You guys want to see something nutso? Look at this. So this was May 20th. So this was yesterday. We didn't do space news yesterday because your boy picked up a nice roadcraft addiction, and yeah, believe me, it's bad. This isn't Boca Chica though. It's leased property. Doesn't KSC add another layer of administration hassles and delays? Bill, that's a good thought. And I understand how that could be, you know, that's not a bad way to think about that. May I offer a counterpoint to if SpaceX is using the usual suspects of contractors and suppliers that are usually out at the Cape, they're probably whitelisted. You got to remember, Starbase has no aerospace industrial complex. South Texas, the Rio Grande Valley, there's no aerospace there. There wasn't. Now there is. There is now. But arguably the industrial base in Florida is just as big, and it's specialized for aerospace. If you go through legacy contractors, so like I'll give you a good example, like Bile Brothers. They're the cranes that we see around the Cape all the time. We saw a Bile Brothers crane lifting SPMTs around out of the turning basin the other day. I still think the guy operating that crane's a bum. He didn't know what he was doing. Could just tell you to look in his eye. Bile's whitelisted. So, yeah, if you're using the usual suspects, the Cape has an insane industrial base and crazy industrial capacity to be able to build whatever and have it not really be a problem. Was it goalie? I don't know. Some people prefer to stay anonymous. I don't think goalie would probably not be anonymous about that, but yeah. I've called him out when I see him in the cranes before, dude. I don't think that was him. In fact, I'm really sure. Anyway, I digress. Anyway, check this news out. Look. Bechtel is aerospace too, at least their pricing is. Guys, I want to get to that blue news real quick, but you know, Bechtel does stretch contracts. That's obvious. That's obvious that's what's going on, but also people don't like to hear this. That mobile launch contract, the Mobile Launcher 2 launch building contract was atrociously bad. Like, we need you to build a mobile launcher for a rocket that doesn't exist when you have an upper limit on how heavy the actual launcher can be, or else it'll sink into the ground. Yes, I'll say that again. NASA gave Bechtel a contract to build Mobile Launcher 2 for a rocket that technically doesn't exist with mass constrictions. You have an upper level mass constriction. What does that mean? The crawler transporter, mobile launcher, and rocket can't go above 16 million pounds. That's the weight limit for the crawler way. Okay? Bechtel has to engineer a mobile launcher, which is arguably way heavier than the rocket that it launches because it's a launch pad. It needs to withstand a blast from a rocket, let alone SLS, right? It needs to withstand a blast from a rocket, but it also needs to be super freaking light because you have an upper level mass constriction. You have an upper level mass constriction, and you don't know how heavy the rocket's going to be because it doesn't exist. High five! So, I don't blame the mobile launcher contract. Like, I don't fully blame Bechtel for that mobile launcher contract going over $1 billion. It's NASA is definitely partially at fault there, but it's also Bechtel, and they're known for doing that. So it's basically a perfect storm of waste. Yeah. Great. They are making good progress on ML2 though. They are doing it. It's coming together actually pretty quick. Now that they've figured out how heavy it needs to be. And after $1 billion has gone down the drain. But like I said, it's very difficult to design a launch pad for a rocket that you don't know how heavy it is because it doesn't exist when you have an upper level weight limit. So Bechtel has simultaneously built the lightest mobile launcher ever devised in the history of Complex 39 to launch the heaviest rocket ever designed. That's why ML2 looks completely different. If you look at it compared to all the other mobile launchers, it's using tubes instead of I-beams because it needs to be light, but it also needs to be strong. Dodge. Sounds pretty good. It also needs to be light, but it also has to be strong. So you basically have to engineer a piece of GSE to aerospace spec because you have an upper level weight limit on the crawlerway. So it's not entirely all on Bechtel, to be 100% honest with you. And believe me, I hate Bechtel. Well, I don't hate them. Like, they're known for doing this kind of stuff. Bechtel had the contract for the Big Dig in my home state. They won a bid for $2 billion for the Big Dig. The Big Dig ended up taking 20 years. Well, not 20 years. It was 15 years and $14 billion over budget. Believe me, I know. They're known for that. I know. Like, I don't blame them, but they're not entirely to blame with ML2, guys. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just telling it like it is. And believe me, I ain't running cover for Bechtel either. Screw them. Schmucktel. Yeah, ready? Yeah, ready for this next news? Here you go. So this is coming from Jeff Faust over at Space News. At the LSIC meeting this morning, Blue Origin released this new illustration of the transporter vehicle that will be used to transport propellants for Blue Moon Mark II, for the Blue Moon Mark II lunar lander. Design has evolved since winning the HLS award 2 years ago, says Blue John Koulouris. What do we have here? Oh, mama. This is a sun shield, guys. Solar panels on one side. It's a sun shield to keep your propellants out of direct sunlight, guys. That's what it's there for. If you can keep if you build a big shade, it's a big shade. It's a blackout curtain for the spaceship. You aim this part of the spaceship, the part with the engines, the part that already gets hot. You aim that at the sun when you're coasting, so you don't boil off your propellants. Did they take the design from a flange bolt? No, I'm pretty sure your constriction here is fitting inside of a 7-meter payload fairing. If you notice, the front of this is tapered because New Glenn's fairing is most likely here. And the very top of the fairing houses pneumatic separation systems. So the point of the fairing would be over here somewhere. Do you think Starship HLS will have a sun shield? Starship does not need a sun shield like that. Maybe for a long duration transfer bozo. But Starship has the header tanks. The header tanks, basically the outer skin of Starship is your sun shield. And there's smaller tanks inside of Starship for landing burns and stuff. So to keep the propellant that you don't want to boil off on board, right? Indeed. Another test at McGregor. If you have a header tank that's inside of Starship and the outer skin of Starship, especially where the tiles are, right? There's a vacuum seal between that. Your tanks are out of direct sunlight and you have a thermal protection system to point at the sun. That's what they did with the space shuttle, guys. The space shuttle pointed its TPS at the sun when it would orbit around the planet. That's why you never, if you look at any picture of the shuttle's payload bay, right? Most pictures from the shuttle's payload bay have the Earth in the background, but never the sun. Because the top of the shuttle is not really designed to be in direct sunlight. The bottom of the shuttle is. The tiles are designed to do that. So Starship is going to have vacuum insulated tanks, header tanks, inside of its main skin and thermal protection on one side. You probably don't need a sun shield at that point. All you'd need is a solar panel to generate power, if I had to guess. Going to need something for the tanker Starship, vacuum jacket, big umbrella, whatever. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, for the depot ship, yes. But this right here, I'd like to point out, guys, that this thing, one New Glenn is going to launch the lander, right? Put the lander up into space. Another one will launch, refuel the lander, and you probably need like one more after that. 1 to 2 refuels should be enough to get that lander out to the moon. I'm pretty sure this is one use, Nova 1. Yeah, this is a single-use vehicle. Or it could loiter on orbit. That and powered boil-off recovery also doubles as your prop transfer hardware if you shut for one of the tanks you want to empty off. Where's the hardware? Expensive compared to what? Fault tree analysis, supersonic retropropulsion. Boing. My favorite EJ sayings on my EJ Space Dream bingo card. You could use a heat shield for sunlight. Yes. Actually, Aqualex, I had an interesting idea. I had a very interesting idea the other day. I think you guys might appreciate it. I was watching a video. I won't say what video. It has to do with Pogo oscillations. It was CSI Starbase. So I watched Zach's video. I actually had a very interesting idea. First of all, great video. Really good stuff. Second of all, you could use your Pogo suppression system for fuel transfer. You could do that. You could absolutely do that. Why not? I mean, you said boil-off recovery. That's what reminded me of it, dude. Yeah, it's a great video. If you guys haven't seen Zach's Pogo video, it's fantastic. Actually, I wonder if he got over 100,000. He did. All right. Yeah. My dude. He got over 100K. That's awesome. Yeah. Sick. So you're suggesting the issues are intentional? Hired? No. Do you remember how I've been saying that you get a play button for 100,000, Bob? Yeah. They could use the autogenous pressurization system to help combat Pogo, like the Space Shuttle's Pogo accumulators. That would complicate the Raptor design, though, Graham. Don't you think? Yeah, the shuttle integrated it right onto the engine. I'm not 100% sure why you'd do that, but then again, where the heck else are you going to put it? On the external tank? You don't want to go on there, right? Who says it's simple already? I mean, they're trying to minimize the amount of plumbing on those motors, right? But yeah, it could have a fluid management system on it, dude. But what have I been saying? Block 2 Starship is designed for a component that SpaceX is not finished with yet, or hasn't been implemented. Block 2s are designed for Raptor 3s. They are not designed for Raptor 2. So that does lend credence to your idea. I mean, personally, I think that the Pogo systems are probably going to... The Pogo systems were the component that I was... I always said it's missing something. Block 2 is not designed to work with Raptor 2. It's designed to work with Raptor 3. There's a component that's coming down the industrial pipeline that's not finished yet. So that does lend credence to your idea. Perhaps they're designing a Pogo system that's supposed to work with Raptor 3. That would explain why they've been mitigating why they've been coming up with mitigations for Raptor 2, because there's no pogo system. They put it on the engine because it had to be between the low pressure and high pressure pumps. That's right. Yes, that's the reason. Zach did talk about that. That's correct. I mean, the shuttle, man, it's pretty, like I said, dude, that thing was way ahead of its time. Like, it wasn't even, dude, the 1980s weren't ready for that thing. That thing is cutting edge by today's standards. That's how good the shuttle was. At some point, they would run into this with V3, I feel. Well, that's what I'm trying to say, Grim. The V3 has some type of, might have some type of passive pogo system built into it. That, because remember, cast your mind back. You can't cast your mind back to this, but I heard this from a guy who heard this from a guy who heard this from a guy, okay? You heard this from a guy, understand? From a guy. What makes Raptor 3 so ridiculously good isn't the plumbing simplification, but it's its passive fluid management system. Lack of valves. Right? There's not like a crazy amount of valves and sensors on the thing. The plumbing is very simplified, but also the fluid management system is simplified. So autogenous pressurization, flow rate, so your impellers, it's all simplified. So what's to say that there isn't some type of passive pogo system integrated into Raptor 3's design? Because we know, or I know, I heard it from a guy who knows Joe Willie Namath, okay? That the fluid management system on Raptor is ridiculous. It has passive fluid management systems. That's what makes Raptor 3 so good. It isn't the simplification of it. It's actually more advanced than Raptor 2. Meaning, they could have a passive pogo system in it, or something like what you said, Grim, like the shuttle. But the GOX accumulator, right, could look completely different on Raptor. Doesn't have to look like a baffled accumulator. You could just have it could just be incorporated into the AP system or something. We don't know, because there's nothing to see on the outside of Raptor. We wouldn't know if one was there or not. Maybe they were testing that today at Massey's. They were testing something at Massey's today, and tested something, and they figured out a way not to do it. So the best valve is no valve. Not necessarily the best valve is no valve, but passive valves. Raptor does not use passive valves for its main, for its pre-valve and main valves. No, it does not use that. But those systems could be different places on Starship. They could have simplified the plumbing on Raptor and moved the fluid management, different types of fluid management systems like Pogo or whatever. They could have moved that into the attic. Look, guys, there's a reason why they built the attic on Starship. There's a reason why it exists. So the attic is the space between the bottom of the thermal protection system on the engine section of Starship and the bulkhead. There's an open amount of space in there. They clearly designed that for something. They didn't design that just to put a fire suppression system in it. Right? It's clearly there for a reason. So what I'm telling you guys is that Raptor 3 is designed to work with something that will help with Pogo, right? And that attic is there for a reason. And that's if you want to learn more about this, like Zach's video is quite good in this regard. It's also an hour and a half long, and damn, is it a good 90 minutes. With a printed engine, you could definitely do all sorts of things, having all sorts of passive geometries instead of straight pipes to do different things. Bingo. So I think, Aqualex, either the Pogo suppression system is going to be incorporated into the plumbing for Block 2 when Raptor 3 starts flying, or a Pogo suppressor is going to be on the engine, like the shuttle. Look, man, old tricks are the best tricks, dude. There's a reason why Starship uses tiles, and so did the Space Shuttle, because tiles are a really good way of doing that. For the mass, you can't lose. It's just a little bit complex. Batman lives in Bruce Wayne's basement? No, Bruce Wayne lives in Batman's attic. Yeah. What video should you watch? Here. I'll show you. This video. I don't want to show the whole video because Zach's a good dude and I want you guys to watch it, but I'll link it up. Where's the parts that we're talking about? If you look behind Zach here, in this one from Chameleon right there, we're talking about this piece right here. Particularly right in this area right there. I just tried to find a quick timestamp of it. So, see this area right here? See where these truss bars are? And see how there's a big open space up in there? That open space is designed for something. That right there is the bottom of your LOX tank. But there's a bulkhead here, right at the bottom of the engines, and that there's an area between the bottom of your LOX tank and the top of this bulkhead here called the attic. That's what SpaceX is calling it. You wouldn't go and engineer something like this, engineer out a space like this, unless you didn't intend on putting something in it. Like a vacuum engine. I mean, coincidentally, that's where the plumbing is for the vacuum motors. But yeah, watch Zach's video. It's quite good. Oh, I thought what it could have happened at the test stand. Remember how they pulsed prop feed to test for Pogo on the RS-25s? That sort of thing is hell on the test stand if you didn't build it for it. I'm telling you, man. Do you guys remember? The story that I told you guys about the guy that procures stuff for SpaceX? That basically one of the buyers for SpaceX that goes and buys like all the metal and all the jigs and equipment for Starship. I forget what his theoretical... What name did I give him? What was his theoretical name? I forget. I remember his real name. They had open spaces in the shuttle ET. Yeah, but that was for the inner tank. Did I call him Jeff? Maybe. I don't know. I think it was Doug, Fluffy, yeah. Remember what he said? Some things are easier to procure than others. Some things come down the pipe faster than others. Mr. Procurement Guy. I think I did call him Doug. We called our horse Doug in Red Dead. Hey, Geek, thanks for the raid. Both? Yeah, maybe. Either way. Yeah. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. All right. All right, guys. That was a lot of Starship news, but still pretty dang good space news. It's good stuff. I think it's time to play Summer Car, though. Yeah, Phil, I think. Yeah, Rares, I think you're right. When he says quite good, it's incredible. That's right, Garlic. Yeah. Quite good is, I don't mean to undersell it, but yeah. Some of the... Like I said, man. Went to Starbase and I saw the hardware. I saw the operation. I'm just like, dude, no one. The only people that come close in terms of scale is Blue. That's it. Those are the people that have launched once to orbit. That's the only people that come close in terms of size of like industrial scale. Like just the straight straight industrial scale here. It's absurd what Starbase is. It's absurd we have something like that, man. Have you seen Tim Sindrick's statement? No, I haven't. When you say some things are more easier to procure than others, it sounds like Nicolas Cage in Lord of War. You bring me the gun of Rambo. Part 1, 2, or 3. I've only seen part 1, EM60. You want the armor-piercing rounds with that? Please. Ship 35 has heat shield changes. Dang. Hellfish, I see that. Anyway, all right. Ship 35 rolled out to Massey's. So what's different about its thermal protection? This is a gazer pick. Oh yeah, that definitely wasn't there before. So the guys, those aren't missing tiles, those are instrumented tiles. SpaceX is testing thermal protection. See how they're, well, I was going to say those actually might just be missing. Before they had a bunch of instrumentation tiles on Ship 34. Kind of like that. See how it's uniform? Under the forward flap. That square block. What, this thing? What about it? One flap has glue filling, one doesn't, and only one side has tile experiments. No, under it. That thing? Or this thing? I don't know what that thing is. That's a camera, I think. I have no idea what that thing is. That's the catch hook. And that's the chopstick latching point. That's the antennas? I thought oh no, that's cameras up there. I thought they put the antennas over here. Oh no, they would put them on the side because the thing flies sideways into space. It flies like this. It flies with the wings kind of up down and the belly facing horizontal, belly and the roof facing horizontal. They move them on V2. Yeah. Upper stabilization point, Jake? So upper stabilization point, Starlink dish, catch hook, lower stabilization point. It's interesting that they put in provisions for tiles all here and they just didn't put them. There's the attic vents right there. That thing that I was telling you guys about, that open space, there's the vent system for it. Fellas, tank watchers. Were those there before? I saw ship 33 and 34 up close, but I don't remember there being another vent right here. I thought there was just two on either side of the SQD. I don't remember there being more vents on the sides. Just please reach Seco. Yeah, I know what you mean. That's the contact area. I think they can get away with it. Yeah, yeah. They added them after 33 blew up. Well, Phil, I remember those ones with the staggered vents, but I don't remember this thing. Maybe that was there. I don't know. I saw ship 34 up close in the dark. Actually, you know what? Let me look at my pictures. I have pictures of that thing up close. Give me 1 second. Please hold. Yeah, not there. Look, that's a stop sign. But there's ship 34. The aft wing hasn't been attached yet. But that vent would be right there. It's not there. Well, I mean on the opposite side. Yeah, it's not there. No vent, just the camera. Just the flap cam, which flap cam you can't see because it's behind the flap. They were retrofitted. Could have been there after the static fire. Yeah, so they increased the vent in the attic. Interesting. You think they used the Sawzall? Nah, grinding wheel. They probably did. Bob, knowing yeah, I mean knowing SpaceX, they probably did. You'd be surprised. Oops, just knock over all the stuff off the table. I think it landed on the cowbell though, so it broke its fall. You want to talk about Transfer Fever 3? It's just the trailer, dude. We'll talk about it more when it comes out next year. What's this, fish? This is a Interstellar Gateway. Ship 34 made its feet. Oh, dude, I was there when this happened. Yeah, it's hard to see. It's hard to see in that picture. Yeah, I watched that damn thing launch. Oh, guys, RE the Highway 4 conversation. Somebody actually, Fluffy, I think, on Discord, on my Discord, shared, hold on. It's in the Aerospace and Science channel. I think it was Fluffy. Don't speak of I-4. No, Highway 4, not I-4. Give me 1 second. It's the plans for the, yeah. It's the plans for the extension for the highway. Oh my goodness. Enhance. 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 Oh God. Okay. Okay, this is a big file. That's the CBP checkpoint. Yep. Yep. 4-lane, 2-way. There's your profile. It's basically flat. But actually, guys, look at that. That shows you how elevated roads are over the existing ground. See what I mean? In some areas over existing ground, roads are good ways off the deck. You just don't really notice it. I haven't gotten to where the bike path part is. We're on the west side of. It starts west and goes east. I mean, looks, the bike path would be down here. Do you know if they close Highway 4 for static fire at Massey's? No. Box culvert extension. That's the Sanchez lot. The bike path is basically next to the road, dude. It's next to the extended road. You see it right there? It's not a gutter as you put it, but it's there. That's it right here, as far as I can tell. No bridge, no tunnel. And it should end at LBJ. Yep. Dude, that's good. Dude, okay. You want to watch? I should watch Tested? Yeah, maybe. Let's go up a little bit. There's Quicksilver. And then begin proposed bike path right there. See, just as I thought, medianed. It's a medianed highway. That's the right move, to be honest with you. So you can shut down one side of the highway for transporting the ship and then still keep the other side open to traffic. That's why some of the highway is not medianed. See what I'm talking about? So you can do a temporary lane shift very quickly. So if you notice in the profiles here, it goes from median to non-median to back to median again. See? There are section cut views left side of the page. Yeah, I know. These guys. Or they could make a bigger starship and use both lanes. This does not go all the way to the beach, this plan here. This plan goes to the end of... it goes to the end of... it goes to LBJ Boulevard, and that's it. That's where the... Huh. Dude, there's going to be so much traffic right here. Oh my goodness. Dedicated turning lane. There's going to be so much traffic. Wait, but this doesn't fix any problems. You still have to close the entire road if a ship needs to roll out to Massey's. It's just from here on you don't need to, but huh. Trapo, you need the Discord? I got you. There you go. Yeah, Cyborg, I got your message. Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying, man. Totally a thing. All right, guys, almost 9 o'clock. You ready for summer car? I'm ready for summer car. Do you hear that? You guys hear that? You hear it? I hope you enjoyed the Space and Rocket review, but it's time to go to Finland to play my summer car. So I'm going to jog the VOD. There'll be a momentary loss of signal on the YouTube side of things. On Twitch, stay here. Just enjoy the title screen and the chill tunes. I'll be back in a sec. YouTube, stand by for loss of signal as expected.